Hey guys, so I wanted to do a video on this for quite a while. It's not going to be a fancy tech video, it's actually just going to be a chat video because I feel like I get a lot of questions on it, especially on my YouTube channel, because I did the unboxing and I did the review of my Doona before Rio was born. So quite a lot of time has passed since then because Rio is now almost 2, so I feel like I do have quite a good understanding of the product, and then also like obviously looking towards having another baby. It's kind of a cool time to chat about it. So the video is why I sold my Doona and what I didn't enjoy about the Doona. And the Doona is the pram car seat in one. I think it's pretty much like the only one in the world that is like that. It's obviously like loved for by many people and for many reasons, but I'm going to kind of talk about the reasons why I didn't like the Doona and why I sold it and won't be keeping it for my second baby, because I feel like a lot of people were confused when I put on my Instagram that I sold my Doona, just because it is obviously like a cult favorite. I think also the context is important in that I had Rio in June 2020, which was the very beginning of the COVID pandemic. So I think that really does frame like the Doona, because a huge part of the Doona is it's how travel friendly it is, and kind of when we had Rio and the first months of his life, travel wasn't really happening, so that was kind of the bulk of when we were using it. But that is one of the reasons why I didn't love it so much. So yeah, I think it is important to understand like the context. So for me, so the first thing that obviously was impacted for me for the usefulness of the Doona was the lack of travel. But I think it does bring up quite a good question, which is realistically, how much am I going to travel in my child's first year of life? Like, I think we all have these ideas of travel, especially as a first-time parent, but the reality is quite different from the idea. So if I was actually realistic, like I'm only going to take max 3 to 4 trips in my child's first year of life, and by then the Doona they have outgrown the Doona, and you now need to buy a new both pram and car seat, which is quite costly. Then the second, so it could have just rather been more useful, like, and cost effective. Let's say you're traveling to your parents, like in my case, because I don't live in the same town as my parents. It probably would be more cost effective to have just bought a secondhand seat off, like, say, Facebook Marketplace, and kept it at my parents' house, which I could have used for a longer period of time. And then the second downside, which was probably quite a big one, is that the Doona has no reclining function. So it has one angle that the baby sits at, which is quite like this. It's not fully down, it's not fully up. So if your baby was like Rio, we had quite a bit of reflux and like just digestion issues, tummy issues, it was just a very uncomfortable angle for him. When we tried out other people's prams or car seats that we could recline all the way down for him to sleep or to sit up straight, he was just generally a lot happier. So we thought, oh my word, our child literally hates the car seat, it is so awful. But in reality, he just hated the angle that he was sitting at. So obviously not all babies are very fussy, and some of them are like very chilled, but Rio was one of those babies that hated being uncomfortable and hated being in an angle. So like he literally absolutely loathed his car seat, and he screamed and it was very stressful. And then when we were able to sit him a little bit up so that he didn't suffer from his reflux as much, he was just a little bit happier. So that was definitely another factor that affected us not really enjoying our Doona so much. And then the one that is so practical but that really frustrated me is that you have to buy the add-ons, like if you want to have a place to put your baby, like nappies or anything that you need for your baby. You know, it doesn't have any compartments in the pram. So we bought the snap-on storage, as you guys will see in this video, but it's just so inconvenient in my personal opinion. This is obviously just my personal opinion. Like, it has, like, the snap-on storage is very like, it's just one big like compartment, so everything just goes in and you have to constantly remove it and then add it on. when you get to the shops or when you get the baby back in the car seat. And then you can't really put your handbag in there or your shopping or anything, and you definitely can't, there's no like compartment to put your takeaway coffee or anything like that. So I always felt like I was carrying a lot when I was out with my doona. So I'd have to have my doona, then I like carry my handbag on my side, my coffee in my hand, snap on storage. It just felt like a little bit inconvenient, if I'm honest, for us. Maybe if you're a mom who doesn't need anything when you're out and about, but especially as a new mom, you don't really go out the house without anything. You're always taking things with you. So I kind of felt like I was always carrying something. Actually now at Rio's age, I'll be able to use a pram without taking along a nappy bag, but when they're small you need a nappy bag because you are changing the nappy quite often. And then obviously it can't front face. Some babies don't care about that, but Rio liked to look out. So when we kind of swapped him around to a pram that faced out, he was kind of a lot more happy because he could see like the trees and everything. So that was another thing that wasn't really in our favor. And then Rio was such a big boy, so the doona goes to about 12 kgs if I'm not mistaken, and he's also quite tall. So I think that's another thing to consider about the doona if your child is going to be in the higher percentile, because from about 8 months Rio was just so uncomfortable. We actually had to buy him a new seat by 9 months because he just wasn't comfortable in the doona. You could see he was quite squashed and he just didn't look like he had any room to move around. So if your baby is petite, then I don't think it is an issue, but Rio weighed 4.16 when he was born, so he was a big boy, and he's also like in the 95th percentile for his height. So this video is obviously like definitely not like, oh, I hate the doona, doona's awful. It completely works for some people. You'll chat to some moms who absolutely love doona. So this is actually just more like an opinion or things to consider if you are a new mom and you are looking at the doona. Because I literally, personally, I didn't do any research on the doona or on compare different prams. I just heard and seen some people and thought, wow, the doona is aesthetically very nice, it's super convenient, and you're going to travel, because it obviously has its positives. I mean, you can go like visit your family, you've got your pram, you've got your seat. There are undeniable benefits to the doona, but there are just definitely things to consider, like how much am I going to travel? Am I a mom who wants to carry stuff around with me when I go out and about with my doona? Is my baby going to be quite big? How long is it going to last? Like if you're like me, you're spending in South African currency 7,500 rand on a pram. After 8 months your child doesn't fit in it, and like what if my baby has reflux and he needs to like sit up straight, he doesn't want to sit in an angle all the time? Because almost like when Rio was sitting, like let's say he was awake in the pram, he wasn't happy because he kept kind of trying to push himself up, if that makes sense. So yeah, those are just almost like factors to consider if you are wanting to get a doona. What we ended up doing for Rio is we got the Chew Urban Glide, which has just been a lifesaver because he's now like 20 months. He can still sleep in it. It goes up to 36 kilograms. It's obviously not suitable for newborns, but I think what we will do is maybe get a newborn adapter. You can get the maxi cozy like pebble and you can put it in to the Chew. So I think we'll do that. Chewy, however you pronounce it. Can someone please help me? Yeah, I just think that this will maybe help a lot of my followers who message me and say, well, you did that unboxing video but you never really gave the review of the doona. So maybe this will just enlighten you as to why we end up selling our doona and not keeping it for our second baby. Just because like now I know with my second baby we will be going out, I will have Rio, I will need a place for my bag, a coffee is essential, there's no compartments for that. Just those little like kind of things that make you a little bit annoyed. But for some moms it totally works, so this video is not for everyone, but it just gives you some points to consider. Hope that helps, and it's kind of good to be back. I feel like it's time to reignite the channel and start uploading videos again.